Jared here from the Heel to the Face podcast. Just back to our hotel. It's about 10:30 local time, so it's probably closer to 2 a.m. on the East Coast. So a lot of you aren't going to see this until the morning. But night one of WrestleMania is in the books, and just a quick caveat. You know, I attend WrestleMania every single year, so if you don't attend WrestleMania and you're one of the fans of a two-night WrestleMania, you really don't know just what a hassle. If you go to NFL games, you know the reason why they're only once a week is because they're a big event. It takes up your whole day. The parking, the price of parking, walking from your car to the event. So it is 10:30 local time. We just got back to our hotel. It was probably around 3:30 that we got down to SoFi Stadium in that area just to start looking for parking and park and to walk. So, either way, if you go to the event, it's a 7-hour ordeal. It's a ton to park. It's a ton of walking. It's a big time extravaganza. When it comes to the attendance number tonight, I don't know exactly what the attendance number is, but I will say the 80,000 WWE advertised. I don't tend to disbelieve them in the sense of the stadium was full, and the stadium was as full as it would be, and WrestleMania tonight, night one, looked as if WrestleMania was only one night. This is what it would look like. A full stadium, people behind the stage. There was a few seats missing here and there, but that's Los Angeles for you. A late arriving crowd is their MO in the Los Angeles area, especially due to all the traffic. But a full SoFi Stadium tonight, you couldn't put anybody else in there. There were no tarped off sections. If they could put people in there and they can see the ring from that section, there were people at SoFi Stadium. A takeaway on the set, awesome set. But one thing I didn't really care for, and I think a lot of people probably didn't as well, is the crown that was over the ring. I kind of thought that was not really necessary. It didn't really add to the set. No pyrotechnics went off of it. They didn't have any scoreboards or anything off of their setup, so it kind of just blocked the view for a lot of people. And early on in the show, they were having some trouble with the screens overhead, so it wasn't like last year at AT&T Stadium. A lot of people actually had to physically watch the ring because you couldn't just look up at the screens to pay attention to the matches. During the Logan Paul-Seth Rollins match, you heard the fans chanting, and they were chanting, "Fix the screens," and then there wasn't a big applause as if Logan Paul or Seth Rollins did anything. It was because they fixed the screens so the people up in the nosebleeds could finally see the match again. But the card is in the books. Night one of WrestleMania. The show kicked off with John Cena and Austin Theory. Kind of a weird entrance for John Cena there. We didn't know if that was the entrance with the quote-unquote Make-A-Wish commercial. But John Cena, Austin Theory, a great match. And as expected, Austin Theory gets over because he is the United States champion and he retains as the United States champion. The second match on the night was the four-way tag team match, and it was the first sponsored match of the night. We saw the Pitch Black match sponsored by Mountain Dew back at the Royal Rumble. Well, this was sponsored by Intuit TurboTax. How exciting for wrestling fans to have a Intuit TurboTax sponsored match. But a pretty entertaining match for what it was. It was a four-way tag showcase match with the Street Profits coming out victorious. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, as I mentioned, the chants during the match regarding the fix the screen, but the match itself was as entertaining as many expected it to be. It was kind of cool to see Logan Paul's entrance. He came in on a zip line, and that's probably the first time the WWE has done any sort of aerial entrances since the Owen Hart incident. It was very much of an homage to Shawn Michaels coming to the ring at WrestleMania 12, just down the street in Anaheim. But like I said, WWE hasn't done that kind of entrance since the Owen Hart tragedy. But Logan Paul with a cool entrance, one of the cooler ones of the night for sure. Seth Rollins comes out. He had some interesting ring gear when he came out, but a pretty typical entrance for Seth Rollins, and he does get the win over Logan Paul in a pretty exciting match. Logan Paul did some cool little stunts. He tried to do the jump off the top rope through the table onto Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins moves, throws his partner, Logan Paul's podcast mate, KSI, onto the table instead. He ends up getting the victory in that match. The six-woman tag team match, the nostalgia of Lita, Becky Lynch, and Trish Stratus. They get the win over Bayley and the rest of Damage Control. But probably the most exciting match of the night, especially too when it comes to crowd reaction. Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, they both had really cool entrances, especially to the Eddie Guerrero themed entrance for Rey Mysterio with Snoop Dogg bringing him to the ring. An overall really entertaining match, and the crowd went crazy for Rey Mysterio when he got the win. One match the crowd did not go crazy for, the impromptu match between The Miz and Pat McAfee. So The Miz kind of just said that 80,000 were here tonight and kind of put out an open challenge. Pat McAfee answered the challenge, and unlike the Royal Rumble, the crowd was pretty dead for Pat McAfee coming out. It wasn't, a huge ovation for Pat McAfee. The match was kind of clunky. George Kittle of the NFL came out and helped Pat McAfee. It was something that I think didn't need to happen when it comes to a celebrity appearance or one of these kind of WrestleMania moments. Just didn't really fit in that well. But Pat McAfee gets another WrestleMania victory in the books. The match we thought was going to be the main event, the SmackDown Women's Championship, the first match of the night that had pyrotechnics for both wrestlers. Rhea Ripley becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion, defeating Charlotte Flair in a very entertaining match. And now Charlotte Flair falls as Rhea Ripley is the new SmackDown Women's Champion, getting revenge on her loss to Charlotte back at WrestleMania in 2020 when they were fighting over the NXT Women's Championship. And then in your main event of the night, the one the fans wanted, and they got it, it was the Tag Team Championships. It was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating the Usos in a match that I think everyone wanted as the main event, and a fitting main event for night number one. In my section, actually, though, a lot of fans were a little distracted, including myself, because Johnny Knoxville was in the crowd, and he was just above me, not part of anything WWE was doing. And he was being Johnny Knoxville. He was flipping off the crowd, and he was essentially cheering against Sami Zayn. So he was doing his whole WWE shtick, but without the WWE backing. And a lot of people were focused on that. And Johnny Knoxville was feeding into the crowd during the match. He seemed pretty upset when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got the win. But entertaining in the crowd, entertaining in the ring, and overall a pretty good night one of WrestleMania. But like I said, it is kind of a hassle. It is a big deal to come to these things. It felt like WrestleMania. It's 4 hours long of wrestling. I just remember back in the day when this would just be it. One night, 4 hours, big stadium show, but we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. WrestleMania back at SoFi Stadium tomorrow. Some good weather today during the daytime, and then at nighttime here in LA, it got a little bit chilly. But tomorrow, night two of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the main event of WrestleMania, and some other really good matches. And I will recap that probably from the airport tomorrow night live from LAX following WrestleMania. But until then, we will talk to you tomorrow here at the Heel to the Face podcast.